So how does a legacy show like General Hospital, kind of stay on the air? So they're engaged in this experiment, which I'm a part of, which is amazing. And if this experiment works, I really think it's going to change the way that everyone watches television. And so here's basically the gist of it. So within the General Hospital storyline, there has been this amazing storyline about Deception Beauty. And Deception Beauty is this great cosmetic company where these gorgeous women, create all these beautiful things, and they've taken the fans on a ride for the past 20 years, and the fans have watched them develop cosmetics and packaging and patenting and all of these things that have actually been a part of a learning process for a lot of the fans. Well, as again, advertising has changed. General Hospital thought, well, what if we made deception real? And we
It's your boy, SoSo Juv, and we in the building, and welcome to another episode of the My 5 Cents podcast. Let me go ahead and introduce the cast of characters. To my that way, I got HLS.
Habitual line stepper in the building. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm dusting the cobwebs off, man, but I'm good. I'm ready to go. Get back at them.
Dust off that dusty list. That's what you need to dust off. My goodness.
I'm ready for this one.
Okay, we're gonna see. And to my that way, I got not the logical genius. He's still on hiatus. He's still doing his VP thing. On top of that, I hear he's on FMLA, so he might be down for a little bit. But coming in strong, he was our guest in the Rites of Passage episode, and he was truly phenomenal. So we're excited to have him as a guest host today, and that is Carl King. Carl King, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. Apparently coming off the reserved list. They didn't mark me injured this week, so I'm good, man. I'm really, really good. I'm actually looking forward to this. I got my list ready and ready to have some good conversation.
Good, Carl. Yeah, you impressed us last time, but now it's a different side. You're on the different side of the line, man. How do you feel?
I feel ready. Ready. I was born for this.
I love it.
So let's go ahead and get to our topic for this week. So the thing that we're saying that we are all ready for is a list, our 5 cents on actions or behaviors of an insecure man. So why do you feel like you're so ready for this, HLS? Why do you feel so secure with your list?
Because I've had bouts of insecurity myself. That's why.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna take it from the heart. Okay. I love it when you take it from the heart. Those episodes are my favorite ones. So let's go ahead and introduce our guest this week. And she is a style expert, TV personality, and entrepreneur who shines on ABC's General Hospital as Pearl. Blending her QVC guest host skills with captivating consumer advertising, she's the host, or this is like exclusive stuff. She's the host of the Dating Lab with the Hillbilly Billy Yenta. She is the host of the Dating Lab with the Hillbilly Yenta podcast. Andy dives into the world of modern dating and humor and insights from diverse guests. Her international best-selling book, Style on Shoestring, earned her the title Budget Bombshell from TV Guide, while her work on shows like Starting Over, How Do I Look, and Celebrity Apprentice proved her knack for high-impact, budget-friendly makeovers. Andy's signature product, the Girly Go Garter, is a patented game changer, storing your essentials safely and stylishly, with her accessories like under wraps and Gitsy Go Garter in about 6,500 plus stores worldwide. Andy is revolutionizing functional fashion. You can catch her beauty and style tips weekly on KJoy 98.3, and she was formerly on the Kim Iverson Show. So please welcome to the My 5 Cents podcast, Andy Paige. Welcome.
Hey.
Hi, guys. I'm so thrilled to be with you guys. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. I am a fan.
Yes. See, you're already making me secure in my list already. I feel really good just by that.
Good.
So let me hit you with
that introduction. That introduction was pretty awesome. Thank you, sweetie.
No problem. That's your work. I mean, I should be thanking you for this introduction.
Fair.
So let me hit you with the icebreaker. which is, what is your superpower and how has it assisted you in your journey?
This is easy for me. My superpower is my kindness. And the reason that that has assisted me in everything that I've ever done is because I just believe that if you can leave a little kindness, if you can show up as your best self, be kind to everyone, that people will remember that. And my entire journey through life, all of my success has to do with the kindness that I have spread. And people remember me as someone who is kind and easy to work with. And because I'm easy to work with, I show up on time, I end up getting a lot more gigs than others.
Ah, very, very nice, very nice. So you talk about gigs because you are in the film industry.
Well, no, I've never done a movie. Actually, I am an actress for the very first time. I mean, I am 54 years old, and this is my very first acting job. I am Pearl on ABC's General Hospital. Now, I have done over 200 episodes of television. In the 2000s, I was kind of a makeover maven when all that was happening. So, yeah, my show, How Do I Look? 10 Years Younger, or the show, How Do I Look? 10 Years Younger, and Starting Over were just a few. I had my own show on A&E called Sense of
Sense
Style.
of style.
Yeah. But
Oh,
for the most part, I was just entrenched in being myself. So this is the first time I've ever like dipped my toe into acting, but I've never done film.
so Andy, General Hospital, soap opera, this genre of drama and insecurity. Now, do you think that the insecurity in these relationships in these soap opera shows, it actually is a reflection of real life?
I don't know that soap operas are much of a reflection of real life, to be perfectly honest. I mean, that is a crazy world. And I think that's kind of the fun of it. I mean, General Hospital is the longest running television show in TV history. It's been on for 61 years, you guys. 61 years. A long time. I mean, I started watching it with my great grandmother in the 70s. So it's been around, yeah, it's been around a really long time. And my co star on my particular storyline, my co star is Morgan Fairchild. Do you guys even know who Morgan Fairchild is?
I do.
So it's crazy to think about. She was this amazing, gorgeous, high powered woman in television in the 80s, and now
Mhm.
she herself is almost 80. But anyway, everyone that you can imagine has participated in General Hospital in the past 61 years in some way. But I don't think the show is popular because it reflects reality. I think the show is popular because the writers are always coming up with amazing plot twists and turns and drama and the unexpected. And so that's what I think is, what makes a soap opera really fabulous and good for daytime television.
An escape, right?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I think that the pendulum is actually twisting. It's turning back because we are moving away from news. We are moving away from magazine television. And there are
Mhm.
two new soap operas slated for the next couple of years. One is going to be launching in January because I think that people are ready to escape. We are just so bombarded and overwhelmed with the news that we're ready to
Mhm.
get back to scripted drama. So, and when I talked to my husband, about that, he was like, "Oh, well, I just don't understand the appeal of soap operas." Meanwhile, his favorite show is like Suits. He loves Suits, and he loved The Sopranos, and
That's a
I'm
manly
like,
soap opera. That's
yeah, I'm
why.
like Yellowstone, kind of soap opera, honey,
It's
kind of
kind
a
of
soap
soap
opera.
opera,
Yeah.
right? Just a little more
So
killing, right?
right, a little less sex. Well, I don't know. The sex on Yellowstone was
I
pretty hot, but
mean,
I think that you get it. Like we
yeah.
all love that written scripted drama that keeps us looking for the next episode. And General Hospital
Mhm.
gives people that for 61 years.
Hmm.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
So outside of your acting, which you're getting started in, right? You said you've done QVC stuff. You're an entrepreneur. How do you find time for it all?
Oh, well, I am not someone who relaxes very easily. I'm definitely that 2 screen, 3 screen girl. Like I've got two phones with me all the time. I can like I love football, and so my Saturdays and Sundays are all about football, and I use that time to like clean the kitchen, clean out my cabinets, vacuum really well. So I'm someone who's just always doing a few things at the same time, and I've had a big life because that's what I asked God to give me. So
Mhm.
to be perfectly honest, if I were to say my second superpower is curiosity. Curiosity is what has led me down, every path. And I am a God girl. I have a
Mhm.
huge belief in faith. And if God gives me the idea, he's not going to give me the idea without giving me the path to create it. So I just follow my curiosities and believe that God will provide. So I have every intention of having a big life. I always have. And I intend to live to be 100 too. So I'm not done, y'all.
All right. I love it. Love it.
Not even just right at halfway, right?
Yeah, a little more than halfway. But yeah, I mean, right now, my grandmother is 98, and if she were to
Mm.
peek her head into this podcast, you'd see her red hair, her purple glasses, and red lips. So
Mm.
I come from a family of longevity, and we're just I just don't want to stop. I want to live a really full life.
Good. Good.
That's beautiful. Chickasaw, Oklahoma.
Well, close. You got the Chickasaw part right. Chickasaw, Alabama. Roll Tide, may I
Alabama.
say? Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Carl, for knowing that. But yeah, Chickasaw, Alabama. So I come
Okay.
from LA, lower Alabama. And to be perfectly honest, it definitely are the ties that bind and the roots that, kind of hold me to the ground. But,
Mhm.
I am a high school dropout. I moved to New York at 17
Mhm.
and kind of started on a different path with just the belief that I could do it. And so I have everything I've ever wanted to accomplish. I kind of I stick with it. I don't take no for an answer.
Good for you. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh well, I hope that it's inspirational in some way because none of us have to. None of us.
True.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. In fact, I was listening to a podcast you were on, and you were talking about the new policies, and I hope I'm not stepping on you, SoSo or HLS, but
No,
you were talking
you're up.
about the way that you get roll for practice, and then you're up one take.
Oh gosh, you're talking
How is
about
that?
General Hospital?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
How does so describe that process, then I want you to tie that into life, like how that works in
well,
life.
that is very scary. So what has happened with General Hospital is, many years ago it was just this huge budget show, and the money was just pouring in. But as we are
Mhm.
all watching television in a different way, we're streaming television now, and we're trying to avoid ads. It's one of the reasons why I'm on the show. But it's just tighter budgets, and there are hundreds of people behind the scenes working on the show, and so they do anywhere from 50 to 60 scenes a day. A day. It's a lot. So what that means is that you get one filmed practice and one filmed take. And that's it, y'all. The other, I guess it's like 6 or 7 days ago now, I had the dreaded third take. And I mean, it was as if the world had come to an end. I mean, it was just like, so they really expect you to show up. You've got to hit your mark. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to have, your dialogue down. And it is high pressure. It is high pressure. So you want to deliver because you don't want to let everybody down. And when that comes if you're going to correlate that to life, I think that very much is like life. I mean, I think that there are some situations where we just have to practice enough. We have to really invest in getting so sure and having so much confidence that we just can't fail. And I know we've all had that. And the only way to do it is just practice over and over and over and think about it over and over and over. I mean, even for today's show, I've been thinking about this show for almost a week. I got all my notes. I'm ready. I don't want to let anybody down. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's applicable to many areas of my life. And I think it's actually applicable to a lot of successful people. I mean, we can have some level of spontaneity, but for the most
Mhm.
part, preparation is important. And that's kind of what
Yeah.
that's all about.
So, Andy, you spoke about General Hospital and you talked about kind of the creative behind that. What are some innovations? Because we talked about how, like, yeah, it's a dying breed. Everybody is looking at streaming through different lenses and watching content. How does General Hospital stay relevant?
So Juve, I am so glad you asked me because, we are watching television in a different way. And what's happening is, they call it a soap opera for a reason. And that's because soap used to pay for it. But now we're just avoiding the ads. So, how does a legacy show like General Hospital, kind of stay on the air? So, they're engaged in this experiment, which I'm a part of, which is amazing. And if this experiment works, I really think it's going to change the way that everyone watches television. And so, here's basically the gist of it. So within the General Hospital storyline, there has been this amazing storyline about Deception Beauty. And Deception Beauty is this great cosmetic company where these gorgeous women, create all these beautiful things. And they've taken the fans on a ride for the past 20 years. And the fans have watched them develop cosmetics and packaging and patenting and all of these things that have actually been a part of a learning process for a lot of the fans. Well, as again, advertising has changed. General Hospital thought, well, what if we made deception real? And then they took it a step further and they're like, well, what if we made it possible for the fans to, buy the clothes of their favorite characters or maybe the jewelry or maybe something from the set? So what happened is they developed a storyline. It's a home shopping storyline where I am a home shopping host as well as Morgan Fairchild, the Morgan Fairchild. And when things are ready to be brought for sale, if you will, they are brought to Home and Heart. I pitch it on air and then it goes live at shophomeandheart.com. And shophomeandheart.com is where you can see the Deceptor red light therapy wand and the Deceiver serum and all the things that the fans have watched for years. But listen, guys, if this works, then every show from this point forward will have some sort of tandem website where you can literally consume anything you see on the show. So, what if you could have bought the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air sneakers, or we could have bought Fonzie's jacket, or I could have gotten the hair care products of Monica and Phoebe, or so the possibilities of this are incredible. This is it's taking product placement to a whole new level. And I think not only is it going to change TV, it's definitely going to change General Hospital.
Yeah, I
Wow. So
noticed
I will
how.
say this: General Hospital continues to trailblaze with it
Uh,
being the longest running show, and then on top of this, wow, kudos to the team who thought of that. Carl, you had something?
Genius.
yeah, no, I was thinking about there's this really big organization that has some theme parks, a lot of theme parks around the world, and they've created, integrated their products into. So basically, once the show is released, then the plushies and all that other stuff is released, Legos and et cetera, et cetera. And they looked you up specifically, Andy, because you're a HGTV host and you have that, guest, and you have that kind of experience. And so then you are integrated into that process as well, right?
Yeah, so I'm bringing my QVC audience to,
Mhm.
to General Hospital, which is amazing. So I am using my expertise. So I say this is my first acting job, but to be honest, it's not a far cry because this is kind of what I do on
Mhm.
QVC. It's not a stretch, but I do think that yeah, we have experienced this in movies with
Mhm.
products and product placement, and so now that it's coming to television, but I can think about through my lifetime there have been so many things that I've noticed within a show, like
Mhm.
maybe a painting on the wall or something
Yeah.
that someone had on, or
Yeah.
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 hats or anything like that. And I've
Mhm.
always thought, oh my gosh, it'd be so cool to have that. Well, I think it's just a matter of time before all of that will be available.
Yeah.
Smart.
Mhm.
Smart. Before we started to hit record, you mentioned that you love dating. I mean, you're married now, happily married now, but before that, you love dating. Is that what makes you so good at it? You said you never had a bad date because of practice?
Well, maybe, but I don't think you have to practice dating to be good at it. You just have to be naturally curious. I mean, everyone has a story. Everyone is the way that they are because of their past. It's all just a matter of an onion that I have always enjoyed peeling. So when I, used to go on dates, I would come back with, stories and inspiration and understanding. And I never had a bad date because I'm curious about people. And I'm
Mm.
curious about, who showed up. And obviously there was a connection, and it might not be a lifelong connection, but there's no
Mhm.
reason to turn this into a bad thing. Let's just like talk and figure out, where there's some synergy between us. So I never
Mhm.
had a bad date because of my natural curiosity, I suppose.
Yeah, we had an episode. It was with the great Alex Scott,
Oh,
in,
I know that
in which
name.
Yeah, she's into trauma healing and into
Mm.
narcissism and things like that. And that was on her list, or her 5 cents in regards to curiosity being one of the tips for healthy long-term love. Just
Mm.
constantly, continuously being curious. So it's so great that you're kind of validating that thing. So guys, that was a nugget right there. Just letting y'all
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I actually think I could take that even further and say I think that that's the key to a long life.
Mm.
Because the minute that you think you know everything, what you going to do now? Like, you know, where are you going to take that? Like, let's continue to learn. Let's continue to follow our curiosities. And so, actually, the dating lab with the hillbilly yenta. Do y'all know what a yenta is?
I have no idea where Yenta. Actually, that's where I wanted to go next. And what is the premise of this show, and what the heck is a Yenta?
Okay, so you have to know, Carl was saying, I'm from Alabama. I'm a very small town in Alabama, and I married a Yankee, and he has always called me a hillbilly, even though we all know that hillbillies live in the mountains, and I did not come from the mountains. But he has called me a hillbilly yenta because I've always been so like a little bit nosy and nudgy, and before I started investigating dating, I would always set people up. So he called me the hillbilly yenta because yenta is a term that came from Fiddler on the Roof. It is a Yiddish Jewish term for matchmaker.
Matchmaker. Yep.
So hillbilly yenta is the ultimate dichotomy because it really doesn't exist. But he is the one who called me the hillbilly yenta. So that's how it came. And we did a little research, and it seemed to be kind of buzzworthy in the podcast, sphere, I should say, because there's a lot of people out there talking about dating. So
Yeah. Yeah, I knew, but I didn't want to tip your hat. But I grew up with a lot of, I don't know if that's just a Southern thing where people are kind of a little bit in your business already. And
true.
so small towns, I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. So grew up in Texas, Southern, and I grew up with a lot of people that were matchmakers, right? They considered themselves matchmakers, and they'd be like, hey, you need to talk to this person or that person or whatever. And so yeah, I very, very familiar with that kind of way of being in the world. And I completely agree with your take on curiosity and the importance of just asking questions, more questions, better questions.
Yeah.
Andy, do not fall for the sucking up that's happening right now.
No, I was going to say,
I didn't want to say nothing.
I need you to
I didn't
see
want to
right
say
through this.
anything.
Okay, I want you to
I-
see. I
Oh
need you to
my
see through this.
goodness.
I wasn't. I did not hear a sucking sound. I was feeling it.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I will say, Carl,
That sounds like the mark of an insecure man.
no, compliments are not. No, I would disagree. Compliments are not actually a sign of insecurity. Compliments are a
I'm
sign of
saying him
security.
saying I'm sucking up. I think
Oh,
that's the mark.
okay.
We
Perhaps.
call them
Perhaps.
haters where I'm
Um, I,
from.
I do have false confidence as one of my signs, so I don't know if there's any false confidence going on here. But Carl, I wanted to ask you. So I love that you feel that way about curiosity. So the big
Yeah.
question is, dun dun
Mhm.
dun, are you in love?
I am in love. Yes, absolutely. And I mean, like, if we're gonna go full disclosure, yeah, I just got a divorce. And yeah, why that face?
Well, because you
Listen,
just said you were in love. Who are you in
Yes,
love
I
with?
am. I am madly in love. The divorce was a long process. Most
Okay.
states in the United States, you have to be separated for at least 6 months, and some you have to be separated for over a year. And so there's this process of decoupling. I was married for about 22 and a half years, and absolutely gave it my best. And I mean, come on, Andy, you just said you have, you're in love, and yeah, so
This is my second time around. You learn a lot of lessons in your first marriage, honey. Let me tell you.
absolutely,
You
absolutely. Some
learn a
people call it a
lot.
starter marriage, right?
Yeah. Well, 22
Um,
years, I don't know. That's a long start, babe.
it was a long
There
marriage.
are lots.
And
So, what lessons did you learn in your first marriage?
oof, wow. She's turned it like it's a podcast now,
It's a
folks.
whole other podcast.
Right.
Just give
Yeah,
me
I
one.
think yes, I think the primary lesson that I learned when we were considering divorce, and when it became clear to me that was the direction we were headed, was I hadn't asked enough questions, and I hadn't asked good questions. So, in fact, like when we were starting to separate, I would write with a marker, a marker on my hand. Or my wrist right here. I'd mark a question mark and then a plus. And so the plus meant more questions and better questions. And like, this is not y'all looking at me like I'm being very genuine.
No, I believe it.
No. I
Because
think
I'm
I
intrigued. I'm
it's
realized,
the
intrigued.
curiosity piece. I
yeah,
think
no,
you're
I
going way into
realized that I had been taking a lot of things for granted. I had made a lot of assumptions. I hadn't gotten clear on who I was with, on the direction she was going. And I think sometimes you have to check in with people because we all are evolving. And if you're not checking in with people and you're not understanding, okay, who is this person now? Who do they want to be seen as? How do they want to show up in the world? Because if we're identifying and checking in with somebody that 20 years ago was this person and had this identity or whatever, and we're still trying to interact with them like that, and they want to be known like this, there's a huge there's a huge
Yeah.
mismatch, right? So that's some of the things that's probably the biggest lesson I learned.
That's a big one. That's
Mm,
awesome. Yeah. And by the way, that's a great dating question. What lessons
yeah.
did you learn in your last relationship?
Oh yeah.
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 That's a great dating question. Because
Mhm.
when they say I learned that women are all bitches, that tells you a lot.
that's
And I have
a
heard that
flag.
on more than
Red
one
flag.
occasion.
Yeah, red flag.
Yeah, that sounds like an
Uh,
insecure man right there.
yeah,
Totally. Totally.
we might have to talk about it when we're a guest on the host of the dating lab.
There
Yeah,
we
That's
go.
what
Yes.
I would
we're talking
love that. Yes.
Yeah.
But again, solutions. But yes, I
Oh,
would love
absolutely.
to have all of you
And
on
we are about
as
to
my guest.
Yes, and we are about to tap into that curiosity, and
Okay.
we're about to provide the people with solutions. So we are about to get into our 5 cents on the topic for today, and the topic for today is what, HLS?
Signs of an insecure man.
All
Uh-oh.
right,
Dun
so
dun
Dun dun
dun.
dun.
yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the list, but before we go ahead and get into the list, HLS. Well, actually, let me go ahead and lay the groundwork for those that are new to the show.
Please.
And at this segment, what we're going to do is SoSo Juv, HLS, and Carl King are going to deliver their 5 cents on the topic that HLS just put out there. What is going to happen is after that, we're going to get into a little bit of cross-examination. There'll be some deliberation by the great Andy Paige, and a decision will be made as far as who is in third place, because we got to laugh at the loser, and who is in first and our champion for the week. Now,
Because no one cares about second place.
we don't care.
Exactly. And you
Throw 'em
know. You know already.
You're the
Throw
first
'em out,
loser.
Andy. Yeah, first loser. We don't care about that second place. But in order to do that, we of course have to give you the criteria for judging. So HLS, please give Andy Paige the criteria for judging.
Andy, you were chosen for this topic because you know. You're a beautiful woman. You've seen the world. You lived in a lot of places. Here's criteria for you. We talked about acting. It's one shot. You get one rehearsal and one take, and that's it. But for this show, there's none of that. There's no criteria.
None.
You may choose me because I was the first one here tonight, and that's why you
Maybe.
might choose me as number one.
Okay.
Andy, you might choose me because I used to live in Gadsden, Alabama.
Oh, I love Gadsden. Okay, maybe. And you are the one who said yes to me on Podmatch. So it's a good
100%.
point.
Just remember this, Andy. Just
I'm
remember
thinking
this.
about it. I'm thinking about it. Okay.
You might choose me because I am in love.
And you had a really good answer to my question. So it's a good point. You all are very it's got me thinking. The only one of you, your pitch kind of stunk. HLS. Your pitch wasn't so good. But
He stays consistent with this thinking. Don't worry about it.
Listen, I showered today. Don't put my business in the street, okay? I was saving water.
Okay.
There's a drought.
I hear you. Okay, line stepper. Let's go.
But whatever criteria you decide, it's all up to you. But first, you get to decide who do you want to hear from first.
You, HLS. Let's go.
Awesome.
Hey.
Oh, good luck, Andy. Good luck.
So, Andy, this is a little personal for me. Maybe not personally towards me, but I've seen this, I've witnessed this, and some, I'll admit, I've experienced. At number 5, someone who brags too much. Oh, you should see the girl I dated last night. You should see the car I have, the house I have. It's a constant need for validation for them. So if you're bragging so much, you always need this validation, you're probably insecure. And number 4 kind of ties into number 5. You're overly concerned about what others think about you. Yo, so, what did Shorty say about me at the party, man? You think she was feeling me? Yo, Carl, man, like, how do you think I came off on the show last night? I mean, you think it was all right? You think your followers will follow me? If I'm overly concerned about what other people think, it might be signs I'm a little insecure. And number 3, overly jealous. Overly jealous. I mean, that says a lot. That says a lot. I don't think I need to go into too much detail about someone who's just. Or it's one thing to be like, "Hey, where are you going with that outfit on? You looking a little too good," or it's like, "Hey, come back in and change those clothes. You're not going outside like that." And
Yeah,
number
there's
2,
a difference to that.
there's a difference. There's a difference. And number 2, overly clingy. Oh, you going to the store? Oh, I'll go with you. Are you going to get your nails done? Yeah, I'll go with you. Are you having a girls' night out? All right, I'll drive you. I'll pick you up too. Someone who just always wants to be around you 24/7, 365 without any space, it's a bad sign. It's a bad sign. And number 1, this one's personal for me, imposter syndrome. I felt it before. Started a new job, wasn't sure how I fit in this new job, in this new world. I'm like, I'm going to get found out that I don't really know what I'm talking about. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to fake it till I make it. Luckily, I made it, and I've been here for a little while. But that is my 5 cents on signs of an insecure man.
I have to say that was really good. I did not have one of those on my list, so that's great.
Thank you so much. Now, who do you want to hear from next?
Let's see. Well, I'm kind of feeling bad because Carl is new to this whole thing, and I want to be nice to him, but I'm not going to be that nice. I'm sorry, Carl. So so Juv, you give it to me.
In the build. That was probably great right there, Andy. That was great. Oh gosh, okay. Well, I can't wait for cross examination. I promise you. So this is SoSo Juv in the building. This is my 5 cents of the topic of behaviors of an insecure man. So at number 5, I have constantly apologizing. If you are always saying sorry, there is some insecurity going on with that piece. Why can't you just stand on business, as the young people would like to say? At number 4, if he attempts to isolate you from your support system, that is a sign of an insecure man, right? Because, hey, I don't want you getting advice from other people. You need to get everything through me. At number 3, I have blaming you for things you are innocent of. The insecurity reeks when that kind of blaming and projection is being put out there. At number 2, signs of insecurity, definitely when they are overly defensive. You provide feedback and then it turns into this defense mechanism that you're like, wait a second, I just asked you to do this small thing. And at number 1, and I think it's the ultimate relationship killer, but definitely a sign of an insecure man, is they go through your phone. Check your phone. Insecurity. The cell phone has become almost like the digital diary. So if you're going through someone's phone, you're like going through their diary, and that is insecurity right there. So that is my 5 cents on the topic.
That
What you
that's good. Yeah,
ah,
check your phone. That is like for sure. Okay, love it. Good job. Okay, don't be mad at me, Carl. Give it to me.
Not mad at you at all. I appreciate the confidence that I was going to come in strong. So here we go. Yeah, I listed them differently, but let's do it. Number 1, lying. I think that is a sign of someone who is insecure, that they need to prevaricate, that they need to switch the story in order to make themselves look good. Number 2, They're combative. In other words, they are angry, quick to anger, quick to defensive, quick to being, quick to try and get in a fight with somebody, whether it be with words, with fists, whatever it is. They're insecure and they're not confident in themselves. Number three, they're self-obsessed. They don't take a lot of time and don't have the space within themselves to hear and listen to other people. If you're self-obsessed, that means you're probably insecure and you're in a place where you're not good. Number four, they're perfectionist. They're reaching for something that doesn't exist. They demand perfection from other people. They demand perfection from themselves because they are insecure, because they're scared they're going to be found out to be not perfect, not enough. That is insecurity. And number five, I appreciate you nodding your heads there. That lets me know if the whole panel's nodding their heads.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you're going to vote for me, right? I'm just looking forward to
Oh,
this
you're going to get a
cross-examination.
place. I'm going to vote for you.
I just want to give you some support. I just want to give you some support. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
There's voting involved, Carl. You're going to get a vote.
And then the final one is they are needy. And so they are needy for attention. They're needy for presence in space. They're not good with themselves, and because they're not good with themselves, they're not okay with being alone. They're not okay with having themselves by themselves. They're needy, and so that to me is a sign of an insecure man.
I am so impressed. I'm so not kidding. My list is so very different. It is so different.
Ooh.
You guys, this is like amazing. This is so helpful for the listeners out there. No, my list is very different. Okay, so I don't want to interrupt, but I'm ready to.
So I can't wait, Andy, to hear your list.
Well, you're going to hear my list in a minute.
When we get back together next week, I can't wait to hear your list. So we're going to separate for today. We are always thankful of the great Andy Paige being on the show for part 1 of this episode. Please tune in next week for part 2. And until then, this is our 5 cents. Peace.